Greetings, friends and Warhammer fans. I am Monkey. Welcome to the Box Fort. And it is that time once again for this week in Warhammer. We've got some old world made to order pieces going up for sale for the truly nostalgic among you. But before we get into the contents of the Sunday preview, I would just like to ask, if you like the video, like it. If you actually liked it, please subscribe. And there's a comment section. Tell me what you're looking forward to. Tell me why you don't like them releasing old models for current day prices. I'm with you. I'm kind of with you, to be fair. So first up on the list, we have the Bretonnian Lord on Pegasus. I like the knightly aesthetic. It's a very cool thing. But I may be a barbarian, but I appreciate knights. There's something very, very epic about them. So this guy came out in the late 90s. So yeah, classic hero, to say the least. Moving on, we have the Bretonnian Lords and the Standard Bearer on war horses. Now, each one of these guys sold separately. We have the lance, we have the great axe. Was it great axe or is it just great weapon? It's just a great weapon. And one has the banner. Now, these are all metal miniatures, but don't worry, the horses are plastic. Carrying on, still in the lands of Bretonnia, we have the Paladins on foot. When did these guys come out? These guys came out in the early 90s. Like, that's kind of crazy. I'll move on to that point in a bit. I'll bring that point up slightly later, methinks. The fellow with the hound crest is sold separately. That's their words. The hero with the dragon crest is a Grail Knight, who is sold separately. And the two questing knights are sold as a pair. So I'm going to guess individual, these two come together, which, cool, fine. As it says here, the knights aren't having all the fun. We have the Damsels of the Lady. Actually, very cool characters. Been reading the Lords of the Lance thus far. Very, very good book. Some very interesting characters in it, and the ladies are pretty cool characters. I do enjoy them. Finally, leaving the realms of Bretonnia, we have the Tomb Kings. Each of these guys are sold separately, originally released in 2003. God. I do like these ones. These guys have a very, very nice silhouette to them. I like the weapons, I like the poses, there's a decent amount of definition in them. I like these models. I think they're quite nice. We have the Lich Priests and the Battle Standard Bearers. Also hailing from the original Tomb Kings release way back in 2003. These set of Lich Priests and Battle Standards come in pairs, each containing one character on foot and one on a plastic horse. As you do, because for some reason the horses can be plastic, everything else has to be metal. Moving on to the Black Library, we have Zombie Slayer by Nathan Long. We have Bleeding Stars and Other Stories, which... slightly awkward title for an omnibus, but sure. It's an assortment of stuff. Go have fun. Warhammer Plus, we have Warhammer Plus things. That's it, I have nothing else to add on that one. So there's a small bone I want to pick. And it is a small bone, and there's not a lot of meat on it. But I've seen a lot of people talking about the Old World release and kind of complaining, first and foremost, that they're selling old miniatures at current day prices. Which, to be fair, is kind of a boner. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to say it's just like, oh, you should be happy with the prices. You're allowed to complain about the prices. That's fine. I don't have an argument with that. But the one thing I have actually found rather concerning is the amount of people that seem to have jumped on this idea of, if Warhammer Fantasy Battles was so good, why did it fail? Why did it go away? Why weren't the fans supporting it then? This article kind of proves a quibble I have with that point, i.e. Age of Sigmar replaced Warhammer Fantasy Battles in 2015. So it's not even 10 years old. This character came out in the late 90s. By the time Sigmar came around, this guy was over 20 years old. These guys came out in 2004. They're 10 years old. These guys came out early to mid-90s. Are you seeing the pattern here? By the time Sigmar came around and replaced all of these, most of these miniatures were already very old. I think at this point, we're all slightly spoiled for releases because GW are kind of releasing things constantly. We have constant updates. We have constant new models. Just a little character here, a new unit here, an upgrade here, an update there. That wasn't happening in Fantasy Battles. It just wasn't. The system wasn't getting the amount of love it needed at the time. It wasn't getting the miniatures to really pay for those things and make it worthwhile. I just think it's a disingenuous argument going after the old world by saying the fans should have supported it then, because the simple fact is, GW wasn't really supporting it then. They were off playing with their 40k toys because that's what people were buying. Like, hate Space Marines as much as you like. The simple fact is, they bring out new sets for the Space Marines, people buy them. They weren't really releasing that many new things for fantasy battles at the time. And a lot of their key figurehead units were very old units. Anyway, that was my ranty thing. I'll stop doing the ranty thing now. I apologize. I've seen that argument a couple of times and it bugged me. It's weird that people are angry that there are old miniatures in a nostalgia game. But anyway, to do that thing where I summarize, we have Horsey Lord Boy, Horsey Lord Boys that don't have wings, Lordy Boys that don't have horses, yet do for some reason still have wings. We have Lady, I'm not going to say Lady Boys, that's probably not what they are. We got the Bony Boys, and then we have Bony Boys with banners. Is an audiobook, is not an audiobook. So, if you made it this far in the video, you kind of have to like it now. I would appreciate a subscription. I'd like you to comment. Tell me something I got wrong. Tell me why my rant was incorrect. Go ahead. I love when people tell me I'm wrong. But I bet you can't. Oh, we're tempting fate with that one, boys.